All right, so we're going to show just how we have a tank level monitoring kit. We're going to use this Q45 node with a Banner ultrasonic sensor that connects over a one-wire serial interface, and how this kit that comes just like it is, take it out of the box, plug it in, you can get alarm values, you can get tank values, and you can set it up to kind of customize your application. So that being said, if you look at the screen, it's showing me that out of the 16 possible nodes, we don't have any. Not a problem, because this guy hasn't been turned on yet. So I'm just going to hold this button down for a couple of seconds. It's already been bound to the kit. So I'm getting a blinking green light. Here periodically we should get something like this to pop on. I'm going to go put this in fast mode, so we're not, normally we take 5-minute samples. Instead, I'm going to turn this to every few seconds. So I've got a graph here. First of all, you'll see that I'm showing tank level. It's basically based on my distance to the floor and some default settings, which will change. Here the graph is going to give us some historical data and how it compares to warning and alarm settings. So let's go set those up so they make more sense. So I'm going to go to tank setup. I'm basically going to work everything off 72 inches using this sensor. You'll see by default, the tank is set at 120 inches. That can be adjusted up or down. I'm going to say 72 inches. I know that my sensor has about a 12-inch dead zone, so I'm going to use an offset of 12 inches. And then I want to set up my alarms in percentage. So it's actually going to be using the percentage of our tank depth to determine some alarms. So low, I am going to put at 10%. Low, I'll put at 20. High, this is a warning, we'll put at 85. And then an actual high alarm we'll do at 90. And we'll see how that correlates to what we're doing. If you have an analog sensor, because you're not restricted to exactly what Banner's showing here, you can set this up for analog and basically give it a distance at the 4 and the 20 or the 0 to 10, but we're not doing that right now. And we're using inches, not metric. So let's go back to our values. Here's our main screen. So now you'll see that we have our current sensor that's online, and I'm going to raise the sensor up a little bit, and you'll see it showing an emptier tank. So basically you're getting some percentage value of how full or empty the tank is compared to our settings. And we're even getting a number there. So I'm going to go open and look at this tank more specifically. And one thing that's happened is you'll see that we have a red and a yellow bar over here and a red and yellow bar over here. That's showing us our warning and our alarm zones for both high and low. We're also, of course, getting a value of 45%. Green on here means that we're between our warning and our alarm values. You'll notice here, if I raise it up just a little bit, it's going to be showing a few samples over time to tell us, based on that rate, how long it's going to take us to either go empty or go full. I'm actually going to take it closer to the floor now to simulate a filling tank. And now we're getting an estimated time to full is less than a minute because I was moving awfully rapidly. And sensor out of range. There we go. We'll fix that. It lets you know if your sensor's out of range. Great feature. So now you also see, according to the chart, I'm going to zoom in on this just a tad. So now we're looking at 0.1 total hours, and you see the white is the actual measurement data of our tank values over time, and our yellow and our red are the actual warning and alarm values that we've set up for this. You can also get a view, historical versus your alarm settings. Let's see here. Now what do we want to do? Let's go and let's look at our sensor now. So I'm going to go against this wall to simulate a tank that's emptier. So now that I'm against that wall, I'm showing that I'm 25%. If I want to go a little further away, it should reduce that value. Now we're at 15%. I've got a low warning, and my LED on here has gone to yellow. Now look at the sensor, and you'll see that there is no LED on that. But let's fix that. Come back to the tank screen for a second. Let's go to enable Q45 lights. The reason you wouldn't is because it will shorten your battery life somewhat. 5-minute readings with this sensor, we're going to get a 2-year battery life. So it just depends on if you want that local indication or not. Now let's see if we've enabled these. Now you'll see that it's blinking. It won't be solid to save battery, but now it's blinking. And if we go even a little further away, if we get beyond the 10% mark, we should, yep, and we're blinking red over here on the sensor, as you can see. Now let's go to a full tank. I'm just going to rotate this to go closer to the wall. Now when the sensor updates, we're at 83%, which is in between. So it's a little lower than our warning and alarm. So it's green over here. Cut in front of that. We go a little closer. Hopefully we're going to be up in the yellow. Oh, we actually have gone up into the high alarm. So now we're in the alarm state. We're getting a red light. What does it look like on your main tank screen if you got multiple tanks? You'll see that we are in the red condition. So even from a distance, you could tell that one of the tanks is in a red condition. You come look closer for more detail, whether it's an empty or a full. And if I go back to the warning state, obviously there's a yellow light telling us that we're in a warning condition. If I come back a little further, we should be in a normal condition. So there's how the tank level kit works. As you see, you can set up your tank depth, you can set up your warnings and your alarms, and get some feedback as well as historical data. The HMI itself, you can go, and right now we're logging data for up to 30 days. And you can transfer that to a flash drive. You can send that to a cloud. There's other things that you can do to take a look at that data. That leave anything out, Ron?
Seems good to me.
Here's one thing. If I only have 8 tanks and I don't want to look at a bunch of non-connected devices, I just tell it we have 8 tanks and the icons act appropriately.
Maybe how easy site survey and binding is?
So site survey and binding are very easy. So let's look at site survey. We already have 1 tank that's going. I'm going to use tank 1 site survey. So right now it's taking a signal strength of readings, and you can tell of the green, yellow, red, and mist. I'm actually going to walk away a little bit, see if we can get some red and some yellow. Not sure if we can or not. Might go pretty far. How we doing in there, Ron?
All green.
All green. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator.
That should help. He said he's going to put it in the refrigerator.
How we doing?
It's too strong.
Is it still green?
Yeah, it's still green.
That's one of the bad things of having such an excellent wireless signal. So trust me, it was weaker. It was going into that mode. So now, let's look at how we would bind the new radio. So I've got this 1 tank already going. I want to add another one. Site survey and binding. This time I want to bind something for tank number 2. So I'm going to put this in binding mode. And this sensor, we're going to use the same sensor. I'm going to put it in binding mode by clicking that 3 times. The LED pattern will tell me that, it's just found a master out there trying to find it. Now it's assigning itself to it. And this will reboot automatically. I'll take this out of binding mode. And here momentarily, we will get the controller inside is having to reset once we do that. But now we'll show that tank 2 has now shown up as we try to match the here we go. So now and you'll see tank 1 has disappeared. So if you're expecting 8 tanks to show up and you get this symbol, you know that you have lost one of your nodes. That was easy. That was a good point, Ron. I think we're good. What do you think? Thank you for viewing Tank Level Monitoring Kit. Go Banner.